Have you ever played a game that makes you just sit there and appreciate it? Not even just playing it, just sitting there and staring at the screen and thinking. That game for me was Hades. I bought the game when it first came out, played it for a few hours, and then ended up dropping it. I thought this game wasn't for me. Fast forward to now, and I've been binging this game for the past week, and I've been having a blast every single second. I was an absolute moron not to give this game more of a chance, because I know for a fact I'd have hundreds of hours by now. Now that isn't to say the game is the best game I've ever played in my life, but it does come real damn close. Even though I haven't finished the game yet, I believe it was worth talking about. Today, I would like to take a bit of your time to discuss Hades and all of its glory. Hades is about Zagreus, the son of Hades, who's trying to claw his way out of the underworld against his father's wishes. So basically he's just a regular teenager. But this is only a surface level description though. The game is a roguelite, so you go room to room acquiring upgrades and materials to get stronger, and after every single run you can upgrade to get farther into your next run. Between every run though, you could go to this hub area and you're able to interact with a lot of really interesting characters, and even some of the bosses who try to stop you on your escape attempts will stop to talk to you. You could customize the hub, build relationships that in return build up all the lore behind all the characters, and even try out all the different weapons and relics. The game itself is pretty linear progression-wise, but very open on how you go about completing it all. Let's go over how we're going to break this game down. Story, gameplay, visuals, music, and the overall fun level. Like I mentioned before, the story isn't really the main reason that you play this game. The premise is cool though. You're the son of the ruler of the underworld, Hades, and every time you're trying to escape hell. The characters are all very interesting every time you talk to them. Even the big bad himself, Hades, manages to be a character that makes you wonder why he's so dead set on keeping his son with him in the underworld. In Greek mythology, Hades is surprisingly the nicest one, from what I know. The other Olympians, on the other hand, aren't the kindest of gods. Seeing it flip the other way around is really interesting to see, but there isn't too much depth going into that. Zagreus himself is a generic main character, but the relationships with all the side characters really tend to open him up. And seeing the progression when you give all the side characters this thing called nectar is really quite interesting. Nyx, Meg, and Orpheus in particular were my go-tos every single time that I came back to the hub. All in all, while the story isn't as deep as something like The Witcher 3, it suits the game quite well, and I think you'll have a great time experiencing it for the first time. Gameplay-wise, this game is an absolute masterpiece. It's so simple, but yet so fleshed out. Simple enough to pick up and play, but will take a lot of time to master. I'm still not consistent enough to get to Hades with anything besides the bow. Melee weapons aren't really my style, but I can see how that could be fun for others. The gauntlets in particular are very fun to mess around with. Getting the right upgrades in a run and hitting bosses like a truck is incredibly satisfying and rewarding. I like using the bow with the aspect of Chiron, and getting the Daedalus hammer upgrades for the specials. Having 9 homing arrows that deal more damage with each one that hits, and proccing some crits is an absolute fantastic feeling. The enemies are also varied and incredibly well balanced. None of them feel unfair to fight, and each have specific ways of dealing with each one. As you continue making more runs, you'll find out that there's more and more new enemies. The bosses are also a blast. Meg and the Fury Sisters are a good first boss and provide a nice skill check to test what you've learned. The Bone Hydra might be the first boss that stumps a lot of new and inexperienced players. The Minotaur and Theseus is what got to me though. This boss took me almost 11 attempts, each one lasting around 30 minutes to get to them, and I'm still not consistent enough to beat them most of the time. And Hades. Oh, Hades. So tough, yet so fair. These bosses are the only ones I've seen so far, and they're incredibly well balanced and super fun to take on each and every single time. All in all, the gameplay is superb. The art direction of the game is also incredibly pretty to look at, but so are all of the Supergiant games. The colors, the character designs, and even the enemies are all incredibly well done. The effects are also super pretty to look at, and do a great job keeping it fresh with each and every upgrade. The weapons change looks based on the aspects, the upgrades change colors of the attack, and the effects all blend in super well. All the environments are lush and vibrant, tons of tiny details come together to create these masterful visuals. My favorite area in specific is Elysium. It changes from the whole red, orange, and purple themes of like hell, and instead swap them out for floral colors like green, blue, and pink. The grass and the leaves with all the scattered weapons of fallen warriors almost add an eerie vibe to it. That's all I really have to say about the graphics, but they're astonishingly well done. Music in games is always my favorite subject to talk about because they always contribute a lot to setting the mood of the game if done well. And Hades does not only do it well, it excels. Music in this game is peaceful with all these old sounding instruments, but the songs quickly make a 180 and blast into a battle-worthy jam. God of the Dead is my personal favorite song. The thing that makes the OST of Hades one of my favorites of all time is you can honestly just listen to it even if you are not playing the game. No Escape is also a very good song that I'm actually listening to while I'm writing my script. The lo-fi version of No Escape is also a very good listen, and I'm hoping someone makes the entire playlist into lo-fi. Still, it doesn't beat Persona 5's music, but it comes pretty damn close. It's just above Metal Gear Rising's tracks, though, in my book. Now for the tricky part, the overall fun level of Hades. I'm about 25 hours into the game, and I'm loving every single second of it. It's one of those games that you turn on, do a few runs, and go do something else. It doesn't really require dedication, but is rewarding if you practice consistently. In my mind, when I play a video game, I want to have the best experience possible, be challenged to overcome something, and just have a good old fun time playing some games. Hades checks all of these boxes for me. I personally rank Hades 10 out of 10 on the Manny Fun scale. I plan on 100%ing the game, then making another video on my final thoughts and opinions, so be sure to check it out when that comes out. Thank you for spending the time to watch this video. Every view, like, dislike, and comment really does mean a lot to me. I reply to every single comment on my videos, so be sure to tell me your opinions or ideas for another video. If you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe. I found a new motivation to start pumping out a lot more content than just 2 videos per year. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.